Ladies and gentlemen, as I promised at the beginning of my speech, I wanted to make a summary to let people understand the deep significance of our speech. We were talking about peace and solidarity. It means that the focus point of peace and solidarity is not behind Islam. It is in Islam as fundamentals. And when God created a human being, He asked them to live in harmony. He asked them to live in rules He Himself defined. And the rules of God are the rules of faith and forgiveness. So it is an opportunity to me to let you get the point, the big picture about how are we asked to understand the mission of Sheikh Ahmadu Bamba driving his path. When the Sheikh was sent into exile by the colonial power, the only thing they wanted to do was to eliminate him, not only physically, but to eliminate him in such a way to let people forget the rules and recommendations of God. That was the objective of the colonial power. And when we're talking about peace and solidarity, people must understand that we have, for this opportunity, think of how can we be inspired by Sheikh Ahmad Bamba's mission in order to replicate the lessons and the results of his mission. What did he achieve to do, Sheikh Ahmad Bamba? While he was sent into exile, people invented something saying the Sheikh is preparing a jihad. He said, yes, I am on my way to jihad, but it's totally different from the way you understand the jihad. The way I understand the jihad is based on the fact of worshiping God and teaching people, training themselves, training them and training their soul so that to put them in direct contact with God. By doing so, he achieved a very laudable mission. And that mission was how to put people together in order to see that they have to work and live under the rules of God. And that rules of God was the rule defined by God himself, while he said, innamal mu'minun ikhwatun. You are all brothers and sisters. Then fa'aslihu baina akhawaykum. But I'm asking you, deriving from my recommendations, to live in relation and in conditions that I define, that are the conditions of exchange and sharing and solidarity. But the focus point of my speech and the speech of those who spoke before me was to let people understand that Islam is not the one or the religion that are asked to join the peacemakers. No, Islam is the peacemaker. So all Muslims have to understand that they have to be part of the game. And if we talked about part of the game, we're not talking about, just the game people know. We're talking about the spiritual game. The fact of seeing that you are part of those who participate in revolving things, in rehabilitating the values of Islam by peace and solidarity. So how can you do that? You can't do that if you don't understand the deep significance of the message of Islam. What does Islam mean? Islam means having in front of you the Almighty on and with or your actions. It means that any action you perform, anything you do, you got only one, reference who guides you, who show you how to do it, and in such a point, you're not gonna pay attention to somebody else who is not in the right path. If you forgive somebody, do it for God. Don't do it just because people say do it. Do it for God. If you participate financially in Islam, do it for God. If you see somebody who needs to be supported in terms of lessons, in terms of science, do it for God. And if you do that, so you can understand that God will create a kind of conditions that gets you together, let you being able to live فَأَصْلِحُوا بَيْنَ أَخَوَيْكُمْ, meaning you are all brothers, and in such a condition, so you're living in sharing and exchanges. This is the message of Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba. And the last point is, if we are all called Muslim, we have to be part of those who can justify the fact of saying Muslim is peace by our actions, by our behavior, and by the way we live with together. Thank you so much.
Jërëjëf professeur. Bon, on doit donner la parole normalement